Hi, I'm Mike McCormick here at the GBTA broadcast studio, and I'm back with Mike Eberhard from Concur. We just finished up on stage. Thank you for joining us on stage and center stage, but also here in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. It was a great opportunity, and I'm happy to be here with you now.
So we talked a bit on stage about Concur and your leadership role. What do you see? What's the opportunities you see ahead in the next year for Concur?
I think our focus over the next year, number one, is to continue to lead and help the travel manager in their role. And so that's really enhancing our tools so that we bring a consumer-grade experience to the traveler so that they have no interest in necessarily going outside of proper channels. But when they do, make sure that we have the ecosystem and the linked ecosystem in place to be able to bring that data back in. I think that's number one. Number two is to make sure that we're providing a solution for not just the largest companies in the world, but local and smaller companies in all of our markets. And lastly, it's continue to expand our global footprint. And that's a key piece in some of the markets that we're expanding in 2017.
Right. So, words of advice for someone in that buying role for the coming year. I mean, certainly a lot of risk, but also opportunity. What should they be focused on?
I think the main thing is not make sure that that the provider ultimately that they decide to go with has a good understanding of where the market could go and has a perspective of how they're going to be able to solve some of the challenges that we may not be seeing yet. And so isn't myopic, isn't locking down the approach that you're taking to service the traveler or manage your program. Gives you flexibility in different parts of the world, depending on what your scope is that you're looking at, and is the right partner for you long term.
So you taking office in this election year, certainly in the U.S. So, and we mentioned it on stage about the first 100 days of office is always a big benchmark for a new leader, but that's also true in a corporate role. So, what are your key priorities in your first 100 days of office at Concur?
It's really making sure that our few but clear priorities and objectives for 2017 and where we invest are the right ones. And so I'm spending a lot of time in the first 100 days listening to our customers, listening to our product teams, our R&D teams, our architecture teams, our operational teams, and making sure that we're focusing on all the right things. There isn't a major change in strategy or direction that we want to take Concur. We're on to exactly where we want to be. The question is, are we making sure that our day-to-day focus is exactly where it needs to be? And I think at the end of the 100 days, I'll be comfortable to be able to answer all of that.
Okay. Well, thanks again for being a part of the show,
Mike.
And appreciate your time. And thank you, Mike, for joining us here at GBTA's broadcast studio.